friends, it's getting loud and it's getting good in here. Today I have the AMP RX BROWNBOX here in the studio with me, and I use it almost every day. I also have two of my Brown amplification amplifier heads. One is a AC50 meets Plexi kind of idea. It's an amp with no negative feedback, and it's a non-master volume amp. And so we're going to kind of take these amps out for a spin here. This one is this top amp is what you might call a D style amp, but Dave made me that going on almost 20 years ago now, and boy, that's a really fun ride. But anyway, I'm at least going to get to this bottom head because of the non-master quality of it, and I want to just run you through how I would use the BROWNBOX with these Brown amps. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in at a low voltage. So right now I'm at like 113, 114. A lot of times out of the wall in Nashville, we're getting around 124 volts. So knocking it down is really safer for your amps long term, extending the life of your amps and the tubes, etc. And then it's also allowing me to get tones out of these amps that are pretty difficult to get any other way. So a lot of distortion pedals are actually going to try to emulate the sound of the first thing I'm going to show you, which is basically just this black amp here, almost dimed and giving up the goods. So let's dive right into it. Again, I'm at around 113 volts. Also, I should say that I'm using a Tele style guitar with a hot bridge pickup. Okay, so what we're getting here is a glorious feast of clipping, and it's the type of thing that really is fun to play into with your pick attack. It's just really taking everything in, almost like a compressor in a way. So things are compressing in beautiful ways. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to up the voltage and kind of get into a little bit of a tighter sound. Okay. So now we're at around 117 volts, and I've backed off the volume. Again, this is a non-master amp. I've just backed off the gain essentially a little bit, and we're just going to go for a little tighter sound. So at the previous voltage, we would have been getting just more sag in general, and it would have been a little bit harder to get that tighter sound. Let's take the voltage up again, and we'll see if we can get just a hair tighter than even that. Okay, so now we have the voltage between 119 and 120, and that is probably about as high as I would run this amp. So let's just kind of hear where we're at with a little bit more tightness, most likely. Okay, so in that setting, if I was really going for something chunky, I would actually change a setting on my Fryette power load, and which is the way that I'm getting into the digital domain and using an IR. By the way, I'm using an ML Sound Lab um, IR, and it's a greenback. So what I would do is to add just a little more low end thump with a switch that's on the Fryette power load. Let's hear that. So this amp is not really ever going to chug, so to speak, but you can get some thump out of it, and it's it's still got quite a bit of guts. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my D style amp, and we'll talk about a couple other things there. Okay, so now we're into the D style amp, the dumble style amp, an ODS um, type amp, and we'll start with uh, a nominal voltage of around 120 or 119, which is historically where I've used it a lot. But then we're going to reverse and go back down the voltage spectrum. So one of the things that I love about this amp is actually the clean sounds, and so I'll show you kind of how I run that typically. Okay, so I really love the clean tone of this amp. Um, there's a couple settings that I won't get into right now that are really special about this amp, but essentially one of the big ones is that the EQ section is actually defeated uh, almost all the time when I use this, meaning I have it turned off via this switch here. And many of you will know and be familiar with how the dumble circuit works in that way. Okay, so we have a great clean tone. Sometimes I will use the bright switch as well, but I don't use it as much unless I lower the voltage. So let's try that first. So I brought the voltage down to around 114, and I've engaged the bright switch now on the clean channel, which also stays on for the dirty channel as well. As you might know, these gain stages cascade into each other. But anyway, with the bright switch on, here's our clean tone. I should say I'm on the neck pickup of this telly. And let's hear the bridge while we're at it. Okay, so with the bright switch engaged on the clean channel at 120 volts, typically that would be a little strident and a little bit too bright. So this voltage change using the BROWNBOX really allows me to run the amp a little brighter in its settings, which is really cool. It brings out some really cool tonal things. I will say also on the other amp, I would never dial it the way I have it dialed as far as treble and bass. The treble and bass are both almost 2 o'clock, and typically I wouldn't be able to run it like that. But what it does is it's kind of bringing out tone out of the circuit that would be hard to get, get away with, I should say, if you were just running, cabs on stage. So you're getting things out of the amps that would be hard to get any other way. I think I've already said that. Okay, let's get some dirty tones out of this amp. Okay, so many people know the D-style circuit for that overdrive channel, and it really is special. It's got almost a fuzz-like kind of quality to it. Kind of hard to explain, but and the saturation is kind of between all these different worlds, and it's just a really special sound. In my opinion, it sounds a lot better with the voltage dropped via the AMP RX BROWNBOX. So, okay, so I'll play that overdrive sound for you one more time with it basically dimed out. Okay, friends. Well, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully, this was a helpful video, and hopefully, these changes that I'm mentioning, or the change in the feel, is coming through in the audio. I'll do my best to make sure that it does, but for sure, I can tell you that the feel is very different when you're using the AMP RX BROWNBOX. It's a really awesome experience, and it's really a helpful tool. Most professionals are using it with their tube amps these days. All right, get out there and get you one.